Alright, let's do this. So, I got some somber news. It doesn't really affect anybody, so we did have a death in the family. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And I probably should have a warning label on, every video. Because these are all kind of ad hoc and craziness like that. So you never know what you're going to get. He's like a box of chocolates. My videos are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But yeah, I just wanted to I've not really talked about my depression, the effects of my depression on me and stuff like that, and how close to the end I got. What scares me the most is when I was, touting myself as a, tremendous writer and blah blah blah. Those were some of my darkest times, and it definitely comes through with my writing, and that was the writing that was getting the most notoriety. It darn near broke me. And I know people they put suicide hotlines on and stuff like that, and for me, those didn't help. I don't know relationship with family or close friends or just somebody who understands. That helps. I don't do the to get help. If you're having these feelings and stuff like that, just get help. It's not as easy as that, and sometimes the solution is worse than the problem. poems. I have a stubbornness in me just so you know, the stubbornness is the only reason that I sometimes credit myself with being alive still. Temporary problem. For myself, medications didn't seem to work. They just kind of made me dopey. Didn't get to the root of the problem. I have to remind myself. It's one of the reasons why I say this a million times. That love was the answer. Love is the answer. And love will always be the answer. How I got through the situations. It's also one of the reasons why I am a huge pushover and I get taken advantage of. I don't do that stuff for them. I don't do that for other people. I don't do it for mean, spiteful people, that come in and out of my life. I only do it for me. It's a very selfish way of thinking, and I sometimes, it's like I told somebody, going to heaven, gaining salvation and everything like that. It's like, if I'm not a good person, if I'm not good enough, I should say that. Good, bad is kind of like always, subjective. But if I'm not moral enough or proper enough innately to gain salvation, why would I want to go and spend the rest of eternity? I had to pretend to be a good person, or be granted absolution without retribution. If I gained salvation, and I'd have to fake being who I am for the rest of eternity. To me, that would be hell. Because all bets aren't off. In my mind. never thought of. I always thought of what hell would be like for me. And being made to be something I'm not would be an absolute hell for me. Not being able to speak my mind, not being able to, continuously have these thoughts. I mean, obviously, if the free thinking that I have goes away, I'm not me anymore. So that doesn't matter. But if I'm allowed to have the free thinking, if I'm allowed to be, even play the devil's advocate, which is kind of funny when I say that. If I can't, strive to reach understanding, I don't think it would be a complete waste. And so I would never seek it. I would never seek absolution. I would never seek salvation. In that sense, I have to be good enough just being me. It is one of the qualities that I look for in other people. It's, we talk about I always talk about my tribe and, my people and, my real family and all those things. And it's chaos. What I envision as, my tribe is absolute chaos. It's absolute, total anarchy. People are celebrated. I want to celebrate people for their individuality. I want to, embrace that. I can't even imagine a tribe full of people who aren't being led. And I think about all the jobs that I had, and the one constant is me. The thing about most of the jobs, including the post office, I will use the post office as the example. The post office might work for a lot of people, but it does not work for me. When the bureaucracy freaking overtakes the ability to do the job, it is only bureaucracy. It's no longer the job. Even my current job, I have a very similar problem that I'm trying to work through. And the entire time I've been there, it's basically a huge compromise because they are paying me for a reason. So I have to adhere to the reason why they pay me. They do not want my free thinking. They do not want this. They have ways, this. Like I said, to me, that's hell. It is one of the reasons why, if I had the means or the ability to leave this job, I wouldn't even hesitate. And it has nothing to do with me hating the job. Where using the post office again, where I got to my breaking point with the post office, is that they forgot that I'm there to only get paid. They believed that I was a true believer and there for the work and making sure people get their packages. I love that part of the job, but that's not why I was there. there just for the money. You know, people talk about, like, all the time, people talk about you're just in it for the money. And I'm like, yeah, I am. This is absolute hell to me. If you just release the chains and let me loose, that's a whole different thing. You know, I've talked about how I ran my own company. I ran my own company completely like that. Completely insane, completely off the cuff, completely not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring. It is the reason why my business failed. Rudyard Kipling wrote, Brother Shoetoes, or What It Means to Be a Man, is what most people know the poem as. And there's one part of it, it's like going where you put everything in, and you do it for one pitch and toss and lose. That was me. I mean, the rest of it is don't talk about the losses, so here I am talking about the losses. So I guess I'm not a man. But I would do that. I would risk it all. And lose. I didn't know it at the time. When I, found the orcs in 40K. Because that's what they are. They're absolute chaos. I think that's one of the reasons why I liked them. But one of the expressions, and people get it wrong all the time. They say orcs never lose. Orcs lose all the time. Orcs lose constantly. But what orcs aren't is they are never beaten. It means that you can't change them. No matter how much you attack, no matter how much you try to make them conform, no matter how much you want them to be like you. That's what it meant to me. It's the reason why I've never wavered with the orcs. Because I've kept that, people have turned it into fluff. But I've kept that all the time. Orcs lose always. It is probably one of their greatest strengths. And it is also why I don't play 40K anymore. Here I am saying this is why I don't play it anymore. I would, if somebody said, like, let's play 40K, no matter what edition, even 7th, even 6th, when they were awful, I would still play. That's why it's called the rule of 7 for a reason. You should, 2 dice, you should always add up, you should average out 7. Strategies and stuff like that, you don't plan beyond that. Yeah, when you roll double sixes, you do a little bit more damage, but it's not tremendously more. Where orcs are concerned, sometimes when you roll a 12, when you roll a 6, it does an immense amount of damage. And sometimes when you roll a 1, it does no damage. And when you roll your 7s, it does nothing. You can't win by the rule of 7 with orcs. And I know I was supposed to be talking about something totally different than gaming. Maybe I'm just trying to avoid it. But the things that get me through. I came up with switching back. My belief. I have been told that you have no belief system, you have no faith, you have no this. I sometimes think, listen, I agree with you. I have no faith in humanity. I have no faith in others. I sometimes think I can predict what other people are doing because I always think that people are going to try to do what's their best interest in mind. But that's not true either. I mean, our current president is the reason why. I can say that with certainty. So, and I don't have a belief in God. I know that changes some people, and people think weirdly, oh, you don't believe in God. I'm not an atheist in the sense that I don't believe that there is no God. I just don't believe in the God. If God himself came down and told me to kneel, I probably would. He probably would have to destroy me. Because I would be telling him, before he killed me off, I'd be telling him, I'm going, what have you done for me? He shows me the world, says that, he's influenced everything in it. And I'd be going, but I don't feel that. I don't feel your miracles working through me. I don't feel any of that stuff. I'm a cynical bastard. Now, do people feel that? Yes. Do I think that they're wrong? No. Again, I'm not an atheist. I'm not agnostic either. I don't know if there's a power greater than me. When it happens, maybe I consider myself sort of an agnostic. Maybe. But I'm not. Not really. I'm just me. overlords take over, I will probably be the first one either taken in. They'll either utilize, something that they can't control, or they'll eliminate it. I can't even say, it's the same thing with God. God's either going to basically be like going, that's the factor that I've always wanted, or that's the factor I need to eliminate. It's the same. Aliens come down. Same thing. I'd like to be the thing that they can't quantify or label. That goes with human beings and, whatever. Like I said, sheer chaos. But my belief system, I believe in people's immortality, and I believe that it does take other people, which, as you just heard, how I feel my faith in humanity. But I don't know if my immortality is secure. I don't know after I die if somebody says, "Oh, I love him." Whether I, gain, go into their hearts. I think that it happens while I'm alive. How I affect people. So, I don't know if these videos, I don't know, because I don't think it's, I think this is a representation of me, but it's not me. I think you'd have to really know me in order for me to live in your heart. But I don't know. I don't have the answers. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic time doing it. Be well. And as always, cool beans in the comments below. Alright, and I will talk to you later. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.